Okay, so where's in our relationship that like has been like pivotal moments that were like, wow, that. I feel like it's all like gone together so smoothly. Worshiping together, 100%.
Yeah.
I noticed that yesterday because we never get to stand next to each other in worship.
Yeah.
Almost ever. Like I think the only time is like the flood that we sit next to each other. And so yesterday when we were at the conference, was that yesterday? Yeah, that we were at the conference. That we were standing side by side. That literally, I felt like we were one.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt that. That I was like, oh my gosh, like we are equally in this, and I just think that that's because we've been separate worshiping. That when we came together,
it wasn't like we didn't have a motive on what we needed to do. We didn't have a schedule on how many things we needed, and we don't typically have one with our worship team either. It was just kind of like, hey, we've got a few songs that we can't possibly sing, but let the Spirit lead where the Spirit's going to lead. But it was just so freeing, and we were able to just sit there and be ourselves and worship next to each other.
And not be leading. I think because we lead like every Sunday. I think since we've been a couple, every single Sunday, there's only been like a couple of times where we've gone to other conferences and worshiped together. But I think like this was the one that I saw that I was like, oh my gosh, we're worshiping.
This is the first time we've worshiped
as
being engaged.
Yeah. And I felt the difference 100%. That I was like, oh my gosh, like spiritually, because we were right there, and like you can, when you're leading, like you're worshiping, but you're in a different mode because I'm leading people into the presence. But when you're just worshiping and you're not in front of people and you're not playing instruments and you're not focusing on the click track and you're not doing all those things, like I felt there was a super strong, connection. But I just think that it's because that we've worked individually on a relationship and together on a relationship that you have to not only in your personal life but in your like love life, in your relationship, in your personal life and in your romantic life, having that personal time with Jesus.
What's crazy is the Seminole Conference last year, God told me I was going to marry her. And I told her on the way back, I was like, I don't know what this means. But what he showed me, so it was the first time I fell out. I don't think I've told you this, huh?
You might have, but I don't know. Continue. We'll find out.
It's the first time I fell out in the Spirit. And actually one of the only times I've fallen out in the Spirit. And I was on the ground and I was just getting downloads from heaven. God was telling me a lot of things, and I stood up and I felt like a huge like feeling of peace, calmness, and Jordan had also fallen out in the Spirit. She was not standing up, she was like sitting on the chair in front of me, and I was like behind her for some reason. And then right when I got back to our seats, because we were in the second row, she was sitting on the first row, I came back to the second row, and when I was there, Pastor Todd with some Transformation Seminole Church, with Pastor Todd with Transformation Seminole Church, started talking about the covering from God to man and man to wife and wife to kids, and it was he was explaining it as an umbrella, and in that instance, Jordan was literally sitting right in front of me, and I was standing over the top of her, and I was like, this is it.
Yeah, that was like prophetic. Man, that's good.
Yeah. And so I told her on the way home, I was real giddy, and I was like, I'm gonna marry you. And she was like, what? And I was like, I'm gonna marry you. And she was like, we're not even dating yet. This is like 5 months into it. And I was like, don't even worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But I think with that kind of going along with that, and I don't even know if we'll put this on the blog, we're just talking. But with people, I don't know, I guess I'm not a very submissive person. I feel like I am. Just when I don't, like, okay, it just depends on the situation, which is, I guess, is not very submissive.
Well,
but
submissive to authority, absolutely.
Yes, but just submissive to people, like, it just depends. If you're in my authority, if you're directing my authority, then yes, I'm gonna submit to you. But people have always, there's just been a joke in the church, like, Jordan's never gonna submit to her husband because I guess I'm just a strong-willed. Yeah, strong-willed person. And so that's what Pastor Gary asked me, I think like a couple months into our relationship, you know, are you gonna submit to Thomas? You know, because I'm a proclaimer, I'm very strong, he's proclaimer, definitely. And so he is like, are y'all gonna butt heads? And that got me thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, am I? And so then I started asking the Spirit, and I don't even know if I told you this, but I was like, Holy Spirit, like help me be submissive, because obviously this was enough into a relationship where I was like, okay, this is going somewhere. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, Holy Spirit, like, help me. How do I, you know, be submitted? And I was like, am I not submissive right now? You know, like, where's the submission line in dating and engagement before marriage? Because biblically, it doesn't say submit to your boyfriend. It says submit to your husband. But I was like, Holy Spirit, like, help me. I was like, am I submissive? And he kind of just put in my heart that, of course, I'm going to be submissive to Thomas because he's earned my submission, if that makes sense. That he's trustworthy enough for my submission. So in the sense when he's talking about the submission and wives be submitted to your husband and husband love your wife, like, it's not an act of him being like, oh, I'm over you. It's an act of saying, like, will you, like, I love you so much, let me have your life, and then me saying, I trust you so much, you have it.
Yeah.
And so that's what the Holy Spirit was like.
Trust and respect.
Yeah, and that's what the Holy Spirit was like, no, you trust Thomas enough to completely submit to him, so you're not going to have that issue. And then immediately I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so then I think a couple months later, Pastor Gary asked me, and I was like, oh, he's trustworthy, and walked off, and Pastor Gary was like, wow. So I just think, like, the Holy Spirit, like, if there's any girls out there that's like, I don't know if I can submit because you're strong-willed and you don't like that idea, when the guy comes along that is worthy of your submission. You know, that's why it's so important to have courtship and to have a God-centered relationship. That's why he earns your trust, and he earns that to where it's not a forceful thing of me saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's in charge of me. It's oh my gosh, I'm so glad that he is the head and I don't have to make decisions. Like, honestly, even though I like making decisions for myself, but I have not with both of us. I like making decisions in my life. I don't like other people making decisions for me. But with Thomas, I've never had an issue with that.
Well, so I don't know how much of this we're gonna put in it, because this is a very long video.
It is a very long video.
We've been talking for 22 minutes almost.
21.
Well, when we get done, it'll be 22.
Okay.
But if we choose to keep all of this in, thank you for sitting to the end of it.
Yes. We'll probably edit it and break it up a little bit. We may have to do like 2 parts.
So I very much appreciate you guys listening in. If you have any questions for us, or if you have any problems that you can see in your relationship that you'd like to get fixed and don't know how to fix them, leave a comment below. We'd love to help you guys out, pray for you guys. And if you guys know one of us and you don't want to be like secretive, just like send a text message.
So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, share it. That if you have an idea for some devotionals that you want, if y'all have like, man, I'm really struggling in this area, or topics in the Bible that you're like, we probably won't know the answer, but we definitely know the person that does know the answer. So just put it in the comments, and share it out.
Peace out.
Peace.
In the great outdoors, forever free.
Like love life and your relationship. Don't say love life, I don't like. And your because that makes me think of like in your love life, people normally don't say that. In your
Yeah,
in your romantic life, so in your personal life and in your romantic life, have
Pastor Todd with some Transformation Seminole Church. I was gonna say Semination Seminole.
some simulations. So
Yeah.
that little nugget.
Every time we go to a restaurant, I'm like, she gets the salad.
She'll have the nachos.
She'll have the water. That's it.
False. Give her a lemon.